Well, hello, Quesnel, and welcome to Q Today. I'm Allison Duddy.
And I'm Nate Bello, and this is our show for May the 14th.
Our top stories from The Observer. We have some Relay for Life news and a new show coming at the Art Gallery.
And coming up later in the show, we'll have interviews with George Young and Margaret Pascuzzo.
We'll look forward to that. All right, here at Q Today, we bring you the recent news from the Quesnel Caribou Observer, and we also bring you our own stories from the community. So let's move right along to the news now with Nate.
Well, as you are viewing this, the voting is over, or nearly so. Now you know who our MLA is for the next 4 years, and you know what government it is. As we tape the show on Mondays for our program that airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we actually didn't know.
That's right.
Okay, but
I did do my part, though, Nate. I voted at the advanced polls because I'll be working at the election tomorrow. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see who comes out on top, both locally and provincially.
Yes, it's pretty close.
You bet.
Well, there is something I would like to say to our listeners. Were you prompted by fear? Did you see the ads or commercials and decided, oh no, we can't vote that way, the whole world will fall apart? Well, if so, then it's a black mark on anyone who helped you put these thoughts in your head. How should the elections be contested? I believe most of our listeners want to see positive approaches, and they be put forward so that you align yourself with positive views of whatever party you want to vote for. To their credit, all three of our candidates really ran locally respectful campaigns. I believe that. However, at the provincial level, this wasn't always the case. And you can decide for yourself which party was most at fault. At the risk of sounding partisan, I won't really do that right now. I may save it for later, however else.
I look forward to that too.
Okay, but I do believe that between now and the next election, we should create a system, whether it's Elections BC or some other agency, that will screen election advertising so that we do not replicate the hate messages that were prevalent in this campaign. What do you think? Let us know here at QToday@shaw.ca.
Thanks for that, Nate.
Okay.
It'll be interesting to see what people think.
I'd really like to see a change so that we don't have what they call ad hominem attacks.
No, I totally agree. All right, moving along in the news now. With a little over a week until Relay for Life, participants are gearing up not just for a great day of fundraising, but for an exciting family event. There will be entertainers booked throughout the day, including dancers, singers, bands, and even a Zumba class on the stage. Relay for Life is also a great place to get active and try some new activities. Many midfield activities have been planned throughout the day, belly dancing, Zumba, tug of war, just to name a few. If you're participating in the relay, you won't be left out of the fun, as they have themed laps planned, such as the three-legged lap and the crazy hat lap. I think that sounds a lot like a lot of fun. So Relay for Life is a great opportunity to learn about what the Canadian Cancer Society does and how you can reduce your own risk of cancer. Their prevention team will be out in the park, meeting with participants and teaching them about cancer prevention and providing the resources to learn more. If you'd like more info on Relay for Life, you can contact Michelle Godfrey at 778-414-1222 or contact Cara Purdue at 250-983-4241. If you have any questions about teams, get a hold of Kathy Briggs, 250-747-1739.
Right.
Should be a great event.
Let's Zumba.
I don't even know what Zumba is.
I don't know,
Nate.
but it's I don't either.
Some
Let's
kind of
Zumba.
dancing.
Yeah. Well, Annie Gallant wrote a story in the Friday Observer about this month's show at the Quesnel Art Gallery. It's entitled, our May show is Scraps Disappear. Okay. Oh, may our scraps disappear. Okay,
That's the one, yeah.
Okay. And it features Quesnel Quilters Guild members utilizing scraps from old projects. This year marks the 30th anniversary of the Quesnel Quilters Guild, which was started in 1983 with only 7 members. Now the Guild has 63 members, and it encompasses all forms of quilting. They hold monthly meetings where members present demonstrations in all aspects of quilting. Each year they sponsor 3 workshops with outside instructors who teach different techniques and skills. And they also host 1 show a year, with every 3rd year being the large quilt show at the North Caribou Community Campus. The Quesnel Quilters Guild meets from September to May, the 1st and 3rd Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to noon, and the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays from 7 to 8:30 p.m. at the Arcs and Rec Center. For more information, you can contact Cindy at 250-992-5658.
That sounds great.
Beautiful work, quilting.
Definitely. Now moving on to sports, Quesnel Dirt Riders Association hosted BCMA's rounds 5 and 6 recently. Good weather allowed racers from all over the province to race on the newly improved track, and many local residents came out as well to challenge their skills at racing. From beginners to national pro racers, everyone was impressed and didn't hesitate to express their opinions on what a great weekend Quesnel hosted. Yay, Quesnel! Local riders managed to keep a lot of the trophies in their hometown, showing off their talent. Racers hope to continue bringing the trophies home to Quesnel as they headed up to Terrace for rounds 7 and 8 this past weekend. And we'll keep you posted on those results as well.
Great to see people having so much fun.
For sure.
Making lots of noise. Well, despite gray skies and pouring rains, runners from all over Quesnel were determined to have fun recently as elementary schools took to the track. The Dragon Lake team received top honors in the senior girls category, dominating in the 11 and 12-year-old categories. Carson School's senior boys took 1st overall in the competition, followed by the North Caribou Christian School in 2nd place and Red Bluff in 3rd. In the junior girls category, Red Bluff took 1st, Lakeview took 2nd, and Dragon Lake ended up in the 3rd spot. And Lakeview, not to be outdone, took the top spot for the junior boys, with Dragon Lake taking 2nd and Carson in 3rd. So a lot of victories by a lot of schools.
That's right, a lot of different winners. That's good. Spread it around a bit.
That's right.
All right, George Young is getting closer to Quesnel. Here we are with the continuation of his trip up the Fraser. Let's take a look.
Okay, thanks guys, and here I am again with George Young. Hi, George.
Nate, yeah.
Pioneer extraordinaire. No, we've had a long trip here, and we're coming up the Fraser. And what are we going to be seeing today?
Well, we're at Marguerite, the last show we did, and we were at Biller's store, and from there we're going over next door to Hugo's garage, and then from there we're going to start exploring the community and heading up a little bit farther up north.
Okay, let's begin.
Okay, we're at Marguerite between Quesnel and Williams Lake, and it's called the Hugo Johnson's garage. And this picture was taken about 1955, and the show that we just showed before this one here was the old store that was
right. Now, how far?
That was maybe a couple 100 feet down.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we're taking right off.
And so inside the Hugo garage there, these people were almost seniors when they had their first son, and his name was Dennis, and he got a little pedal car for Christmas. And
I like the little garage there.
And a little garage. I think my dad built that for them. And of course, in the background there, here's some kids building Ken Donald and building a little tree fort there, or not a tree fort, but a little fort, eh?
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah. And so now we're going to just take a run across the railroad track, and we're going to go up on the hill. And the reason I'm doing this is this big ranch up here was about 1,200 acres, and they had about 100 and some odd cows and stuff.
It was a hill ranch.
The hill ranch, yes, and Herb and Evelyn Hill, and she was on CKCQ, aligned by Eveline, and they had the Hills Meat Market in Quesnel and Wells.
Yeah, and the Hills Meat Market was just up the street here, right?
On Front Street, yeah.
Right up here. It was torn down maybe 20 years ago.
Right.
And I just before you go on, I'm going to give a shout out to Velma Hill. That's Eveline's daughter.
Oh yeah.
And I'm a good friend of hers. So is my wife, and she's at Dunrovin, and she's quite healthy. So yay, Velma.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. And anyway, as we just go over here, looking across the field from the barn up there, you look up on the hill and you can see a big mine and a bunch of stuff working there. And I thought maybe it was a Gibraltar mine, but it's more closer to Marguerite, or like closer to Quesnel than maybe the Gibraltar mine. And there were some sand cranes there, and if you look at the one in the second one over on this picture here, you can see the red comb on the top there, which is a lot of people have never seen here. And of course, down below is the chicken house and a couple of old storage sheds and stuff that are there, eh?
Now here's something.
Now here's something.
A mammoth.
Yeah, now this building at the top here, when they were building their, this goes back to about 1802, and this originally was built for the old fur trading place for Hudson's Bay and stuff like that, and also that when the railroad was being built and stuff there, the Section crew stayed there and had their food and stuff there, and it also was the original post office, and they used to have dance halls and dancing and stuff like that for the section crew. And on this side here, if you look here, there's a that goes down into the basement there. And I used to stay overnight there with the Leesons, and Gordy Leeson was one of my school buddies, and he used to live in the basement there. And then at the bottom picture here, it talks. This is a newspaper clipping, and it talks about this when they were working. Phil Gallardi was coming through, and they were going to fix up the highway and all that kind of stuff. And it talks about having to demolish these places. And this place was torn down about 1955.
Okay, George, thank you very much for this first part. We've gotten to the Marguerite Ferry, where we'll pick it up next time.
Right, yeah, so thank you very much for everything. And
okay,
yeah,
we'll see you next week.
See you next week, yes.
Next up is an author who took up writing after she retired from the school district. In the last few years, she has written over 10 titles and an inspiration to us all. Here I am in conversation with Margaret Pascuzzo. Thanks, guys. And here I am with Margaret Pascuzzo. Hi, Margaret.
Hi, Nate.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
And are you getting used to springtime?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Last time we had you on Wednesday night on Cable 10.
Yes.
And that was a show before QToday that I did with not as much help in those days, but with a little help, but not a big group like we have now. And we talked about your books at that time. Okay.
I
now,
had 6
you had 6
at that time.
Yeah, you had Joey's First Christmas, Anton Learns a Lesson, Anton Makes a Wish, and that's a perky one. Anton Finds a Treasure, and Anton Takes a Bow, and then Anton Loses a Friend. Okay, and they're still in circulation.
Yes, they
and
are.
People can still purchase them.
Yes.
And just one little thing about the series of Anton. Tell me just a little bit about Anton.
Well, Anton is based loosely on my children's childhood. You know, these are all experiences. You know, Anton makes a wish. He goes up to the church and wishes for a brother when I was ready to go off to the hospital.
Right.
And he did get a brother, but in the story, he gets a girl, a sister, and it's how he handles.
Okay.
How he handles
So
it.
they're lovely books, and they've gone over very well. Now, before we get into your new books that you've done in the last 2 years or so, I want to ask you to refresh our memory a little bit about how you were working in the school district and how you decided that how did you get inspired to be an author?
Well, I always wanted to write because I have a basic respect for the English language, and I wanted to express myself. But it was always on my bucket list, but it never really got started. And I did work in one of the elementary schools in Quesnel, and I worked in kindergarten, from kindergarten to grade 12. But in kindergarten, grade 1 and grade 2, the children would have circle time, and the teacher would read. Right. And I would sit at the back of the class, and after the story was over, the children were really enthused, and they were really happy, they really enjoyed it, and I said to myself, I could do that.
Right. Yeah.
And that's how I got started. I was 68 years old when my first book.
Wow, that is amazing. Like, You retired and you said, I'm going to go
That's
in there
right.
and I'm going to start writing.
Yeah.
And so that's a lesson for people, isn't it?
Yes, never give up.
Yeah.
You know, I never did. I just kept wanting to do it and wanting to do it. And then one day, I went to Australia, and Joey's First Christmas was my first book. And I came back from Australia. I had seen my first kangaroo, and then I was sitting looking at the Christmas tree, and I thought, wouldn't it be nice if I could make a story out of that? So Joey Kangaroo is an ornament on the tree.
So then that took, you could write, if you wrote these in about 3 or 4 years?
Oh, yeah, maybe two, 3.
Wow. What's your regimen? What do you do? Is it writing time and you write every day? Is that how you?
No, I often get inspired with something. And this one, for instance, I was in...
Okay, let's start going through some of these and tell people about them.
Okay, this one...
Along Came Grumpy, okay?
Okay, this one, for instance, I was up at Dr. Boomhauer, up in Prince George, and I was getting a treatment on my back, and she was talking about writing books. She said, I always wanted to write a book. She said, I had the grumpiest brother-in-law you could ever imagine. And she told me the story of how he came and he released the fire, the dragonfly.
The dragonfly, yeah.
Yeah, she came and she told me, and I went home and I wrote it.
Oh, wow.
So it's dedicated to her.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have some beautiful illustrations in them, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And how do you get the illustrations?
I put it out on the internet, and I have a site there that they're the middleman. So any artist, you know, it's a pool of artists, and then you can draw from that pool. Okay.
And you had a few people?
Yes, often in 2 days I get about 30, 35 responses, and then I just look at the style. And
So have you changed the illustrators?
Yes.
Okay.
All the early Anton, the first 5 were done in North Carolina. Joey was done in the Ukraine.
Oh, wow, really?
And all my recent ones have been done. One was in Argentina,
Wow.
and the last few were done in Russia.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at Anton meets Wee Maggie. My wife's name is Maggie, but she often gets confused with animals sometimes. Her name, I should say. Sorry, Maggie. And it has some beautiful illustrations. Let's tell me a little bit about this book.
Okay, I took Anton back to Scotland to spend a day with me at school. He goes to the library, the public library here, and he falls asleep after reading a book about Scotland. And this is my school. The Russians, yes, the Russians did an in-depth. You know, they were so good that it's almost like being there.
Wow, amazing.
Wonderful.
It looks like this book is a little thicker and has a little more text
Yes,
than
it's a little older.
A little bit older. So
Yeah.
what level would
I would
this
say
one
this
be?
is probably 9 to 12, but
9 to 12.
I usually try to target 6 to 9-year-olds, except my preschoolers. This is a preschooler.
Okay, this one's called Wishbone, the
Yeah.
lucky rooster.
Yeah.
And why is Wishbone lucky?
Because he's new to Mr. Bragg's farm, and all the animals welcome him, and they give him a party, and they have a barn dance and everything.
Oh, okay, good.
That's it. That's for my preschooler.
Did you think of human beings when you wrote about Wishbone? Okay.
No.
So you made it a very happy one.
Yes, it is.
Very happy, like
Yeah.
it's a very friendly.
Yeah.
Basically you want to spread joy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all having a good time in the barnyard.
That was Argentina that did that one.
That's pretty good. I like that pig.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you ever talk to these artists? To these illustrators?
I did with the first 5 Antons. I did. I talked to Judith Bicking. Yeah, and we corresponded quite a bit on the internet.
Okay, but they just take a look at your text
Yes.
give you a sample,
Yeah.
then you like it, and
Yep.
then they do the
Yeah.
number of that
And
designated
they do the
number.
layout for me.
Oh, they
Yeah.
do the layout.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is happy, but it looks like we have a little sadness in
A
the
sad
desert.
day in the desert.
Yes.
This is when a friend and I were stranded in the Sonora Desert in Mexico.
Right. Well, let's hear about that. What-
Okay, the motorhome broke.
Oh.
The axle.
You were driving along?
Okay. Yeah, he was, not me.
Okay.
so it broke, and we
Oh.
were stranded. And I, like I say, where do I get my inspiration? I just look out a window, and I see the cactus.
Wow,
And so I
yes.
came home and wrote the story about the sad days when the people, the kids throw tires and knock grandma's arm off.
Oh. Oh, I see.
And they have circle time every night, and now grandma can't be, and she can't do the circle because they can't reach her.
I'm looking at I want to go to the last page, if that okay?
Yeah, mhm.
Okay, because it looks like in the end.
She's happy
Okay.
because the animals of the desert,
Uh-huh.
they make a, they
Protector?
no, they make it so that she can reach.
Oh,
She
okay.
reaches the animal, and the animals
Oh, okay,
reach.
so they all help her
grandpa,
to-
and it makes a circle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the moon
Yeah,
looks down and says that everything's fine.
yeah.
And that's another, it's back to age 6 to 9 in
Yes,
that one. Yeah,
it is.
okay.
And this one is to,
And this is your last one, is it?
yeah.
A Miracle for Miliana, and
Yeah.
some people may know the name Miliana around here.
Yes.
And what, did she have any part in it?
No.
Oh, you just like her name?
No, and Anton has a little sister
Oh, okay.
in the Anton books.
Okay.
So when I'm sitting in the mall or sitting at a craft sale,
Mm-hmm.
people will come up and say to me, "You have no little girly books."
Okay.
You know.
So you
I
said-
went home and I wrote a book about Miliana.
Okay. So all those books are available, and through, you have a website?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so let's
Uh-huh.
hear how we can buy your books.
Okay, it's Margaret Pascuzzo at margaretpascuzzo.com.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
and my website is
There's-
yeah, and my email is mpascuzzo@telus.net. The books are available on Amazon. They're available in Canada, United States, Europe, India, and available at the Caribou Keepsakes.
Okay, right up the street from
Yes.
us. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So let me just ask you this. What's happening in your mind now about your next book? Could
My
you give
next
us a little
book-
teaser on your next?
Yes, my next book is When the Swallows Come Back to Capistrano.
All right,
Okay,
yeah.
and it's one little swallow doesn't want to come back, and of course it's not kosher for him not to come back because he has to come back.
Right,
you
right,
know.
right. That's the rule.
That's the rule. He has to come back, and so his mother's a very proud swallow in the colony, and she's taken it very hard. But in
Okay.
the end, it
Okay.
works out.
Better.
It works out.
But so when will we be seeing that one?
Oh, I don't know when, because it's not cheap. you
To
know,
print, yeah, you're
very,
right.
very
This is a
expensive.
labor of love for
It
the
is.
most part, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it
yes,
is,
I will
yeah.
never live long enough to
Yeah.
to get a profit from
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It was on my bucket list, and I wanted to do it.
And you think you'll keep writing?
Oh yeah, I
Okay.
think so. I
Yeah.
keep. I see stories all around me. You know, and I would like to mention that I
Yeah.
do have a couple of recognitions.
That's right. That's what sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you
Yeah, see.
from Anton Makes a Wish, A Sad Day in the Desert. They were runner-ups in the Fiction Clay Batye 2009 contest in Penticton, and they were published in the 2009 anthology entitled Mining for Crystal Gems. And Anton Finds a Treasure received an honorable mention in the Hamilton, Ohio
Yes.
Writers Guild 2009 Fiction Contest. Fantastic. That's great, because I know just from reading them myself, you know, how simply and how delightful there's a flow.
Yes.
Thank you, because
Yeah.
I think the flow just gives us energy, the positive energy that obviously you have.
Well, I enjoy doing it. It's been a passion for a long time. So.
Well, thank you very much, Margaret. I really appreciate that you came in.
Well, thank you for
I'm looking forward to
having
your
me.
next book, and we will maybe we'll make it a regular thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll
good.
see you in a couple of years.
I'll see you in a couple of years.
Thanks.
Thank you, Margaret.
Well, Dave Sutton had a chance to check out the Lions Club Mother's Day Pancake Breakfast this past Sunday at their lot on the corner of Reed and McNaughton. Let's take a look at some of the great pictures he took, and thanks a lot for sending those in to us, Dave. And as always, thanks to the Quesnel Lions Club for helping to make our show possible. Their next garage sale is Saturday, May 25th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Maple Park Mall. And remember, you can watch us anytime on the web at qcatv.ca, thanks to Eddie D'Souza, or check us out on Facebook, Big Q, Big T, all one word.
Well, that's it for the show. We want to hear from you with your stories and your comments on our show. Whatever you think is important, we think is important. So email us at qtoday@shaw.ca with your story, or ask us to cover a story that you think the community would just love to know more about.
Remember,
Q Today is about
Quesnel talking to Quesnel. Bye for now.
Girl, you're what a woman should be. I swear you could be on TV. I waited so long to see somebody that would actually get to me like you have. You got style and you're not no spaz. You can make me as happy as a man can be. I hope she understands I speak philosophically. It's impossible for me not to be wanting to see what it's gonna take to be getting a woman like her with a guy like me. Can I have this dance with you? Will you chance it if I asked you to? Just take a look what I can do. Oh girl, can I have this dance with you? I see you staring, doesn't look like you're glaring. Ain't nobody else can compare. You're in a league of your own. If you want, here's my cell phone number. You don't have to wonder. Girl, yeah, all the pressure I'm under, trust me, yeah, I'll create some thunder. A little bit of lightning, looking in your eyes is so exciting. I definitely hope I'm the type you're liking. I'm reciting the conversation. I'm kinda nervous, but I'm not wasting this opportunity. Soon you'll see you'll wanna be with me. Close your eyes and just be free, and we can all go insane and crazy. Can I have this dance with you? Will you chance it if I ask you to? Just take a look what I can do.